Our next guest is an analyst for Big Ten Network, New York frickin' Times best-selling author, a quarterback guru. I trust him. I don't know the college game, and he knows it, so he is here. He's host of the Y Option podcast on YouTube. Yogi Roth, how are you?
You know, I'm great, Kay. You know, I want to come because, I have a gift for you, okay?
Yeah, go on.
Right here. Paris Musketeers. Okay,
If I
this
could
is your
hop through
hat.
the screen.
That's right. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. I know you're a huge fan of our team in Paris, so we needed to gear you out a little bit, okay?
You kicked Joe Thomas's team's ass, I saw.
Sure did.
Good for you. Tell me about that. Goodbye, Munich.
Yeah, hey, we feel really good right now. We're in a head coaching search right now, so we're excited about that. A lot of incoming calls, Who doesn't want to live in Paris in the summer? So we're excited about that. So it's been fun. You'd love it. You got to get there this summer. We feel really good. Got to the semis this year, which, we don't worry about the outcome. We were staying in the process. You know the cliches. That's us as well. But it was a fun summer.
It's the Paris Musketeers. You're looking for is that why you're here? Are you going to ask me to coach the team? Because
you know how it is. You just read the tea leaves a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to figure out who's available, who wants to coach. We've talked to all my mentors. We're just just trying to put it out there.
Why don't you do it?
I've thought about that. The challenge is that the championship game is the first week of September, and I still love calling college football games. So there will be a point in my life. I always tell my wife. Yeah, yes. No, they would love it. They'd love to go to Europe for the summer. We're into it.
I mean, Joe Thomas told me he's having the best time, but I think he might be coming home. He might be a head coach. Who knows? He might be Chicago's head coach. We love Caleb. Ooh. You know Caleb. Thomas Brown's like, nobody's leveled up like him the past couple of weeks. Unbelievable. And a great opportunity for him. There's a lot of uniqueness to Caleb Williams. You and I have discussed a lot. I'm just going to ask you, who should be the coach?
It's a good question. I don't know exactly who should be that coach. I think that there's a lot of talented candidates. Clearly, they've got all the quarterbacks. They're the quarterback position handled. Ultimately, I think they need somebody who's going to go in there and not only steer the franchise with a veteran lens on it, but also one that's going to bring some energy to this team. I mean, whether you connect with Caleb or other guys on this team, they want to go out, I believe, and just go cut it loose and let it rip. When I talk to anybody associated with that place, that's what they want. And I think that when you look at the talent that they have, especially the special player that we've talked about many times in Caleb at quarterback, that's where you want to feel like you can go compete freely. And when I watch them throughout this season, clearly it's been anything but that, right? Whether it's moving on from an offensive coordinator, moving on from your head coach. I think there's a ton of viable candidates. I'll be really curious to see where they net out. I mean, you go back to last year and you think, oh, what if they did hire Jim Harbaugh? I know you're a big Chargers fan. That could have been a big get. I know this. I know Pete Carroll wants to coach. This guy is a crazy competitor. I don't know if that's the place or not, but I know that since he finished coaching in Seattle, he has not stopped competing. I mean, I talked to him. He's still coaching me up on being a better husband, being a better father, being a better minority owner in the Paris Musketeers. His energy to coaching is still there. So who knows how that shakes out. Another bunch of other openings, of course. Sadly, that's how NFL goes.
What's the one quality in a coach that Caleb Williams will thrive most with?
I believe this. I believe the number one, the role of a coach is to not only tap into the potential of the team and get them to maximize, of course, those things, but I think it's creating an environment where your players can be the best version and most authentic version of themselves within the boundaries of the facility, within the boundaries of the franchise, within the boundaries of the college program. That's what I think Pete did a phenomenal job. I think all the personalities at SC, all the personalities in Seattle, I think that's what Dan Lanning's doing. I was just up at Oregon, Bo Nix's old home yesterday. I was there last night as they're going to the Big Ten championship game. The best coaches, I think do that.
Is there any world where Lanning's an NFL coach? He fits all my requirements.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I've known Dan since he was a young graduate assistant at Pitt, at Hail to Pitt, and then Arizona State, and now, of course, look at the meteoric rise they've had there. What I love most about him is that he's got these DNA traits, it's connection, growth, toughness, and sacrifice. But his life truly changed, and you'd love a conversation with him. His life truly changed when his wife was diagnosed with cancer. He was on this he was on this crazy ride to becoming just the Kirby Smart, the Nick Saban. He worked for all those guys in his past. And then when his wife was diagnosed with cancer, he said it just totally changed his life because he was like, whoa, I was on this singular focused path, which, so many coaches are often on. And it derailed that. It brought him to his knees, as it would to anyone. She's cancer free. They've got 3 incredible kids. And he's like, I've realized that, like, I need to be family guy and I could be a hell of a coach, but I don't need to just be on that sole track where you're sleeping in the office and, family is a I don't want to say pseudo afterthought. That's probably a little too strong. But I think coaching sometimes, like, ball often comes first. And for him, he's not. And to learn that at such a young age with young kids, when he was at Memphis at the time, it's changed him. His ability in the transient nature of college, to your point of the transient nature of the NFL, his ability to get players to connect and play for one another. And in college, it's very individualized now with players getting paid, the transfer portal, today's signing day in college football. Like, there's a lot of that goes on in movement. Dan Lanning has been masterful in how he's done that. And I know this, I don't know about the NFL, but I know he loves being in Oregon. I mean, he's been offered every job under the sun. And his line is always, the grass is pretty damn green in Eugene. And I was just there yesterday. He's pretty damn green. Yeah,
he's a guy who seems to want to let it rip. Based on what you said, I would give I want Johnson. He's a let it rip guy. I think him and Caleb would mesh very, very well. We have to rip through these. Speaking of let it rip, we got to rip through these next questions. Who are you more impressed by, Sam Darnold, or who do you have more belief in, or who do you want to talk about? Sam Darnold, who you know very well, or Jameis Winston, who's just must see everything?
My God, I remember the first day meeting both of those guys. Jameis Winston was a Elite 11 MVP, I want to say 2011, 2012, something like that. Yeah. He had this infectious it factor that just jumped off the page. Listening to him now mic'd up after games or his post-game interviews is just like, you have to do it, because you're like, that's his personality. Like, he had this fun-loving side to him. Now, like, who knows what he's going to say? I think for Sam, I remember the first day I watched him throw. I was at the Elite 11 in San Francisco, and I turned to Trent Dilfer at the time and said, God, he looks kind of like Andrew Luck. And just the way the ball came out, his command. I did a podcast with him when he was at SC. I watched his rise there from a 3-sport athlete and a 3-star recruit to the guy. And now everything he's gone through. I love that he just found KOC and Kevin O'Connell, somebody that can be steady, right? Maximize who they are, let them be who they are, and give them an opportunity, to your point, and what we've said here a few times of let it rip. Sam's done that. Like, there's probably nobody I'm more thrilled for in the NFL right now than Sam Darnold.
And I hope he keeps it going. I know JJ got hurt. He's going to have the benefit of sitting and developing like Penix is doing behind Kirk Cousins. It's nice to have that. I mean, this rookie class we have is killing it right now. All of them are. So let's do some quick rookie quarterback superlatives. Who is the rookie quarterback MVP according to Yogi?
Oh, okay. Quarterback MVP rookie. I think you almost have to go by the week to a degree. You know, like you can't ignore what Jaden Daniels has done and at Washington. I mean, he's just been fascinating. I remember he and Bo Nix were the same Elite 11 class. And you can't ignore what Bo Nix did over the weekend when you watch him play. And then you see the beauty of Caleb shine at times, right? You've seen that. So if I had to get off the fence, which I will, I'd probably go with Mr. Daniels right now.
Yeah, he looks pretty incredible. They had a little bit of a lull, some adversity, and there we go. Biggest surprise of those quarterbacks?
Well, I think it's probably Caleb, and probably even to himself to a certain degree. Like, the game is just so much faster. You look at all the things that's happened there. Like, it was a pretty steady ride for him to a certain degree. Went to Oklahoma, transferred to SC, wins the Heisman. Last year was a down year. I think you watched him continue to grow as the season's gone on. But I don't think any rookie quarterback is thinking, I'm drafted 1. We're going to lose my OC. We're going to lose my head coach before we even get, past Thanksgiving. I mean, that to me was probably the biggest shocker. And I'd imagine for him, he'd say, geez, this thing became a business pretty quick.
Love that. I love Jim Harbaugh, as you know. I also love the Chargers and Justin Herbert. So I want to, knowing Justin well, covering him so long, they're a great match. Everyone knows it. Why? What sticks out to you?
Well, I'll say this. So I went back into the archives. So I've been calling games now for a long time. So I called an old game, Stanford, Washington, maybe in 2009, 2010. I went to my notes this morning because I was prepping for this. And this is the quote that Jim Harbaugh gave me before that broadcast. He said, my wife and Andrew Luck have a lot in common. They're the most perfect people I've ever met. Their demeanor, their attitude is just perfect. And what else can a football coach ask for than a perfect wife and a perfect quarterback? And I think he's got that, right? Like, I've never met his wife. She sounds amazing. But I've met Justin Herbert. I knew him when he was a 0-star recruit and watched his ascension, watched him in the NFL. He's kind of the perfect quarterback right now. So I love it. And you live in the South Bay in Southern California. You could ride your bike to freaking work. 77 degrees. I mean, what else can you ask for, okay, other than you coming to be a minority owner, maybe the head coach of the Paris Musketeers.
Let's go. Last one for you. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's happening. Quickly, walk off. 10 seconds. Heisman winner. Go.
Ooh, I still have my Heisman vote. I'm not going to do it, and I will not allow anyone to vote. Do not vote until the games get played over the weekend. Do not be that individual. Wait till the games are played. I'll be in New York next week.
Check out the Y Option podcast on YouTube, guys. Check it out and pick up all of his things. I love you so much. I love you.
Here we go. There we go. Y Option. We got it all for you. Here we go. Come on.